Greetings, sports fans, and welcome to the latest edition of the Emporia Sports Buzz. This is the ESU edition. Just wing it, Mike. Just wing it. That a boy. This is Jesse Newell, Gazette sports reporter. Joined alongside as always by Michael, the man, the myth, legend Ashford. Michael, say hi to all those ESU fans out there.
Something tells me there's a big game this week. I just heard that through the grapevine. I think that team from Topeka is coming down here. The Ichabod's, maybe the Lady Blues, something like that. Big game. That's what I heard.
It's coming. It's coming. Anyway, this is the Emporia Sports Buzz. We return to you for all your news, information, chatter, whatever.
Whatever we want to talk about.
Then before we get to the Washburn game, I guess it's kind of like you said, it's kind of a big deal to people around here. Let's go back to the Southwest Baptist games. I know a lot of people are talking about these games before anything else because kind of a couple of eye-opening losses for Emporia State early on in the conference schedule, maybe to a team that they don't expect it from. Let's start with the women because the women lose 76-73 to Southwest Baptist, and right now, Mike, turnovers are just killing this team. They've had 20 or more turnovers in 6 of their last 7 games. It's tough to win when you do that on offense.
It was pretty impressive when Brandon Snyder earlier this week at Hornet Talk listed off the things that the Lady Hornets are best at in the MIAA. 3-point shooting percentage, offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, turnover margin, rebounding margin. I mean, so many things, scoring. So many things the Lady Hornets are the best in the MIAA at, except they are the worst in turnovers, and right now that is just killing this team. Once they get that problem solved, the Lady Hornets are going to be a very good basketball team. They are a good basketball team right now. They're just giving it to the wrong colored shirts too much right now.
And it's offensive execution right now, and I know the half-court set's giving them problems right now. Also, Southwest Baptist, they went into a full-court press, kind of bothered Emporia State a little bit, especially in the first half, and got them sped up a little bit, maybe going a little bit faster than they wanted to go. So Emporia State had some things to work on, definitely, but the offensive execution just isn't there right now. They've got some talented players, but they're not producing in this offense right now. And we look at the Fort Hays State game, and again, it was kind of a sluggish game, kind of a sloppy game. Emporia State really played best when they pressed a little bit, kind of got the energy up a little bit, and then after that, they stopped pressing, but their energy was up and they were performing better on offense. So we'll see if they use that press a little bit more because they have the athletes to do it, they have the bench to do it, and it seems like Emporia State plays with a little more emotion and a little more energy when they have just a couple minutes of press sprinkled in here and there to kind of get their energy up.
It was interesting because before the season we heard that Emporia State was going to go and try to go back to using the press a little bit more, especially once Ida Edwards got into the lineup. The fact that Southwest Baptist beat Emporia State using the press is kind of eye-opening, but let's talk a little bit about Ida Edwards and how she has come along in her first few games as a Lady Hornet. She's averaging 14, 15 points a game, and is going to get her first white auditorium experience against Washburn. So what have you seen from her? What areas maybe does she need to get better? I know she's kind of been having the turnover bugaboo herself, about 8 turnovers a game it seems like.
Yeah, she really has. She's had the problem inside. The thing with Ida Edwards is she gets a lot of freedom on offense from Coach Brandon Schneider because she can do a lot of things on offense. She's very athletic, she's quick, she can play in the post, she can play out top. So she gets a little more freedom from Brandon Schneider in the offense, but with that, she's turned the ball over a little bit too much. She has that freedom and she's been giving the ball away too much. Still, she brings a different dimension to Emporia State. If she gets her conditioning down, if she gets the offense down, 14 points and 8 rebounds from a player who hadn't played in a year, hadn't played organized basketball other than in practice, it's pretty impressive. And she brings a different dimension. Stevie is relied upon to score, and obviously Cassandra Boston has been relied upon to score, but Ida really gives them a different threat, an inside threat, and kind of a 3-headed monster if all 3 of those pieces can now get going at once.
What does a win then this Wednesday do over Washburn for the Lady Hornets? I mean, number 4 ranked, it's Washburn, it's always going to be a big game. It's not really a must-win for this team, but if they can knock off a team like Washburn, what does that kind of win do?
The biggest thing is right now, Emporia State's biggest goal is to get the regionals at White Auditorium. They've cleared the schedule that week. That's really their big goal, is to get that there because those 3 games at home, as we've seen in the past, when they get those 3 regional games at home, Emporia State wins those games, So that's such a big advantage. If Emporia State can win the conference, they can host regionals, and if they host regionals, they're probably going to the Elite 8. So that's where this big game is big because it's going to be tough to beat Washburn at Topeka, and if you lose to them at home, you're probably, in the back seat instead of the front seat trying to win the conference championship. It's going to be tough to come back from a deficit like that.
Talking about wins, what better way for the ESU men to kind of get out of this funk than a win over Washburn. I mean, anybody right now, the ESU men would take a win against.
Yeah, and they're just struggling right now. And Coach Mo just tried a little bit too hard last game. You know, he introduces this new defense, wants to shake things up, and I can relate to him because when things don't go right in your life and you're wondering why, the first person you look to is yourself. And you're thinking, what can I do more? Can I do more to get my team to play better? Can I do more to make things better? And Coach Mo tried to do a little bit too much. He tried to implement a defense that really the Hornets weren't prepared to play, and Southwest Baptist made them pay. 17 of 34 from three-point range. They were gunning them in from the stands, from everywhere. I mean, Southwest Baptist was on offensively, and likewise, Emporia State's defense was not very good. Not very good rotation against a very dangerous Southwest Baptist shooting team.
It's tough because Emporia State, you look at last year, they started the season 16-0, doing a lot of what they had been doing this year. I mean, they go to Gonzaga and Texas A&M in the exhibition season and kind of wow both of those two coaches with what they do offensively, that motion offense. You know, in the MIAA, things are kind of going to get away from you at times, and it just almost seemed like maybe the fingers were real close to the panic button because losing 6 of your last 7 is never fun. But the Hornets need to go back to doing what got them to the level of respectability to where they can go into places like Texas A&M and Gonzaga and at least compete for half of that game, 3/4 of that game.
Really, Coach Mo has talked about this, and he talked about it all last year. Yeah, some people weren't listening, but the margin of error for their team is just so small. And so one play here, one play there, and for the Hornets, been a lot of plays at the end that they haven't produced or they've had turnovers. It's one play here, one play there. That determines the game for them. And so they've been playing well overall, but been making a few mistakes they didn't make last year down the stretch in games. So when they lose games like that, you start questioning yourself. They're going to go back to their man-to-man defense. They're going to go back to their crazy running around like they're chickens with the heads cut off offense. They're going to be back. It's just a matter of can they make those small plays because, as Coach Mo says, they're not more talented than every team in this league. They got to have some breaks fall their way. They've got to perform well down the stretch. Can they do it? We'll see. Like I said, they've lost 6 of the last 7. Hopefully they can get things turned around, and again, what better way to do it would be, you know, than against Washington?
Yeah, and well, let's not joke. This team is talented. DeAndre Townsend, Wes Book, Marvin Lee has come on lately, Jordan Fithian, and Caleb Tegmeyer. Those are 5 seniors. Those are your starters right now. Those guys are talented. They have talent. Maybe not quite as some like Northwest Missouri State or Pittsburgh State, but these guys are talented, and they know this system. I think things are going to turn around for the ESU men here. Whether it happens against Washburn or not, I don't know, but it would be nice if it did for the ESU men.
They are talented, but everybody's talented. And also, the way Emporia State plays, you allow about anybody to stay in the game because, you know, the way they want to run up and down the court, get the offense going, you know, work their offense. A lot of teams are going to score a lot of points against you, and so, you know, the West Books of the world, the DeAndre Townsends, they're going to have to try to outscore the other team. And right now, DeAndre Townsend is a guy, I never really thought I'd say this because I didn't know what would happen, but he almost needs to take more shots. He's shooting about 70–80% every game, shooting 8 of 11, 9 of 10, you know, 9 of 11, and, you know, almost all his shots are going in. He's just not shooting that much, so he might need to take a little bit more of an offensive role. West Book is coming back. He's shooting better. The signs are all there for this team. I guess the stars just haven't aligned yet.
Well, it's going to be an interesting week for both ESU basketball teams because these are a couple big games, including Pittsburgh State on Saturday. So we'll see how things turn out. But I think we're running short on time.
I think that's all we got from Michael, the man, the myth, the legend, Ashford, Gazette Sports editor. This is Jesse Newell, Gazette Sports reporter, signing off for the Emporia Sports Buzz. But before we go, Mike, we need some advice for all those kids out there.
Get a blast from the past. Watch American Gladiator. It's on like, what, Sundays and Mondays, I believe? Yeah. Gotta watch American Gladiator. Get a blast from the past. Not as good as the original. Still pretty entertaining.
It's pretty good, brother. Yeah, it's on Mondays, and watch it for Crush. That's all I have to say.
Definitely. We'll see you later.
I'll see you guys next week.